we're here
We
with
are
my
here.
man, Kyle Schantz. How you doing?
I am doing great, man. How are you?
I am fantastic. Have you had time to recover from the Steelers loss?
It was rough. The amount of text messages and hate mail I received from Cowboys fans was horrendous.
I heard Todd Haley just went for 2 again.
And wait, this just in. They failed on the attempt yet again.
So yeah, you were at Qualcomm this weekend. How are the beautiful confines of Qualcomm?
I'll tell you what. The voters got something wrong when they voted down the new stadium in San Diego because Qualcomm is an absolute shithole. You know, it's just not the stadium that you want, but it's the stadium they deserve. They're proposing a new vote coming up, like maybe next year, and people need to get their asses out there and vote. I can't do it. I'm not from here, so. But I might be standing out there spinning a sign or something like, vote on C.
Who's the clown that dresses up? I saw him in a meeting when the Chargers are going over the stadium, and this clown, like Bolt, he dresses like the
Boltman.
Yeah, Boltman was giving an address to the state officials about the stadium dressed in full Boltman gear, and it was truly amazing.
So Boltman it's actually Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf couldn't make it in the pros, so he took on the role as Boltman, where he's allowed to do all the drugs and alcohol he wants as long as he's fired up for the game.
As long as he's in costume and fired up.
As long as he's in character and is in costume every day of the week.
Oh my!
He goes home as Boltman, wakes up as Boltman. That's who he is now.
I believe in it. I want to believe. That fourth quarter by Phillip Rivers was truly masterful. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that.
It was bad. It was real bad to watch it in person. And like I was saying, once again, another fourth quarter lead blown by the Chargers in epic fashion. And at the same time, making Kiko Alonso look like he's actually good and relevant.
I know they handed one out to Chip Kelly there, made him feel good. Did you see anyone come down with a Ajayi fever there? Because
there was an elderly couple on the other side of the aisle, 2 rows down, and I sent you the picture. It's these two. I don't know if they're in remission right now, if they're recovering, or if it's the start of it. I just don't know. But they had some bandages on their necks and ears, and they looked sickly. So I'm thinking the pandemic of Ajayi fever has not yet been squashed.
No, and it's coming to LA this week. So I'm staying inside. I'm shuttering my doors. I'm trying to stay away as much as I can. And I've been saying the Rams are idiots for not starting golf sooner, but this is when you don't want to start golf. He's going to catch the fever, and it might be done before it ever starts.
I'll tell you what else he'll catch. He's going to catch an Ndamukong Suh karate kick to the neck and probably end his season, maybe his career.
Yeah, it's so funny trying to watch local news out here pitch the Rams, and they were talking about the game. And they highlighted the MVP as the punter and proceeded to show 10 minutes of punting highlights because that's the best thing you're going to see from the Rams offense.
I mean, Case Keenum is the prototypical quarterback that every offense wants.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of golf. I liked him coming out, but, you'd think you'd be able to beat out Case Keenum. I don't know. Maybe I blame it on Fisher.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because with the new team in L.A., they drafted Goff to be the face of that franchise. And they went with, right now, Wentz is making a case that he is the better quarterback because he actually gets on the field.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, Kessler's making the case he's the better quarterback at this point. So the Rams must
Dak
feel...
Prescott.
Yep. Wow, Dak Prescott love pandemonium has hit hit full apex now. And I'll give the Cowboys credits. I was actually more impressed with the last 3 wins. You had Philly, where they got down against a good defense, down by 10, battle back, won. They didn't have a trap game against the Browns. They went in there, took care of business, stomped them out. And then in a game where their defense didn't play well, because like I've said all year, their defense isn't good, they still found a way to win. Ezekiel Elliott's reception was the longest for a Dallas running back since Herschel Walker. And
That's
now,
an old one.
Yeah, now the Cowboys are sitting atop the league, which doesn't necessarily bode well for a Super Bowl. I saw the last 15 Super Bowls, only 4 teams with the best record have won. And 2 of those were tied for the best record. So it doesn't mean much these days.
No, it doesn't. I mean, you look at when the Giants got in there for their Super Bowls, they were like the lowest seeded wild card team. You look at the NFC, and there's some people that are catching fire, late, getting real strong when it matters.
Yeah, if you're
one of those teams
is
the Seahawks.
Ooh, I would put the Seahawks as the favorite. Vegas, for the first time this year, has the Cowboys as the same odds as the Seahawks to win the NFC. But I think if you can't get pressure on Wilson, which the Cowboys can't, I just don't see how you're gonna do it. Cam Chancellor came back like a savage last week. Was just all over the field. They have that look of their defense again where they're just out there just laying pipe on people, man. Seahawks are nasty. They're like the Ravens and the Steelers at their apex with their defenses back in the day. You don't get any free yards in them. You're going to take a pounding.
Legion of Boom 2.0.
Legion of Boom.
Back.
And Procise fits that offense so well. The other team, if you're a Cowboys fan, yeah, you could make a case for the Atlanta can come in, beat anyone. If you're a Cowboys fan, you do not want to see the New York Giants come to play you in the first round and in the second round.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Because their defense is finally clicking, and obviously they throw the ball well.
They do. And McAdoodle has some big balls. I love the 4th down call he had.
Oh, you mean Ken Bone at quarterback?
Ken Bone.
That coach?
Ken Bone.
The coach?
Yeah, and there's something about Eli. I'm going to channel my inner Eli. That's how, in the podcast pool, I was terrible this week. I had 23 points. I think I got 4 wins. It was, although I took a bad beat on the Giants. They were pick 'em all week, and even underdogs going into Monday night. But on the sheet, they were -2.5, and they obviously won by 1. That was my top pick. But I'm going to have to pull an Eli myself. Come back strong when it matters.
Rise like the Phoenix.
Rise like the Phoenix.
Well, at least you weren't dead last. Some
No.
dude on the pick sheet got 8 points.
I saw that. That was pretty pathetic. And K. Jacob has won 2 weeks in a row. Now he's in second behind Lafho. So we got a battle here.
Yeah, whoever got 8 points this week, go out back and haze yourself. Just haze yourself.
We're gonna have to have a yearly thing for the last place. You win an award, a shameful award that you don't want, but you win something because it's just as hard to get last as it is first. You got to really work at it.
Well, to be that bad, it's almost like you're doing it on purpose.
Speaking of bad on purpose, what the fuck has happened to the Vikings? I know their offense is bad, but man, they're pulling like an 2009 Chiefs, last year's Falcons starting 5-0, now 5-4. Their offense plays okay, still can't find a win. They cut Blair Walsh, obviously. It is just, it's done. I think they're done.
Yeah, and the funniest part about that is with them slipping so much, you know who the favorite in that division is now? Your boy.
Jim Bob Cooter.
The Cooter.
I think Vegas still has the Packers the favorite, which I can't fathom. I took the Packers again last week, and they're just a bad football team.
So I've given up on the Packers, and the Packers went out in desperation and just signed Christine Michael,
yes.
Which I'm not saying he's bad, but, I mean, how many different people are they going to try at running back?
I don't know. McCarthy was saying they have 21 different personnel sets at the moment because they just have so many players at running back that they're just – and it's not just that. They obviously have no running game. Rodgers is missing throws. their defense without Clay Matthews all of a sudden can't stop anyone, because the Titans didn't get any easy points. They just went in and straight beat down the Packers from the start. It was savage.
Yeah, it's they're not good. When you have to convert wide receivers to running back, you sign Niles Davis for one game, then cut him. Eddie Lacy, I think he lost his foot to diabetes with his weight problem, and he hasn't been able to run on that peg leg of his. No. Then James Starks, who wasn't even in the league like 2 years ago, coming back, leaving again, coming back, leaving again. Just, they need to get something in check over there with that offense. I don't know if it's the line. I don't know if it's the fact that everyone knows they're going to throw the ball and their receivers are wishy-washy at best. And Randall Cobb, fucking do something already. Yeah. Everybody has all these high expectations for that clown.
I'm about to drop him from my fantasy team. I only drafted him because it was just 2 late rounds to pass. And I've never liked him. He had that one great season, like 100 catches, 1,300 yards, probably double-digit touchdowns. And since then, everyone's been acting like that's who he is. And I don't think he's that guy.
Yeah, and then Devontae Adams, shows promise. But the second you put him in your lineup, he chokes again, so you put him on your bench.
Yep.
And then he steps back up. I didn't draft the guy, but I love watching him do that to other people.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Speaking of a bad team with a good record, and I'm surprised they're even at this point, Houston. I took Jacksonville because I was convinced this is the game Jacksonville plays, and Houston tried everything to lose that. But Blake Bortles, God bless him, he said, no, we are not going to win this game today. And he took it into his own hands, and he made sure that Jacksonville would not win that game.
When the camera zoomed at Bortles, I saw that fire in his eyes, and it said, I will lose today. You can't stop me.
He wasn't down enough points to play well. Brock Osweiler wins another game throwing under 100 yards. It's just unreal with the Texans. They keep getting wins. Now they head to Mexico City, 5.5-point dogs. I think that's not enough. The Texans are like the team you would love to play the Texans in the playoffs first round. I don't care who you are. Ravens, Steelers, Chargers, Chiefs, Denver, whoever gets there is just going to just be hoping. It's basically like a bye week.
Well, I personally think 2 wild cards are coming out of the AFC West. I hate to say it, but the AFC West is hot right now with those teams. Going back to Houston, their division is garbage. They all play down to each other. And the difference is Houston just sucks the least, I guess.
The Colts or the Titans win the division still. There's just something about the Texans I don't think they'll.
That losing skid is very possible. I don't think the Monday night game, I think they're losing that to the Raiders. Yeah. But I will say I'm really excited to see the football match in Mexico City.
Yeah, that's going to be rocking. I don't know why the NFL – I know why the NFL wants to go to London, but let's put a team in Mexico first. It's the travel logistics aren't a problem. Azteca Stadium is huge and crazy, and who wouldn't want to see a fan base like that? They're going to be crazy if they ever put a team there.
So they already actually, it's very interesting. So I was at the Texans-Patriots game last year in Houston, and I sat next to, I forget the guy's name. I feel like an asshole right now. He is the dude in charge of getting football games into Mexico. And he told me that the Raiders and Texans were going to be the first game in Mexico City regular season in 2016. And I was like, oh, that's great. And he went on to tell me that the Raiders, the Texans, the Cowboys, and the Steelers have the largest fan bases in Mexico.
It's not shocking.
So, no, it's not. Obviously the Raiders make sense. Just drive through LA still. Yeah. And,
yeah.
So, it was interesting, when the schedule came out and I saw that game was happening because I had sat next to the guy who was in charge of making that happen. And he was saying that Mexico City wants a team, But my issue with that is player safety and how are they going to get to and from other games with Trump's wall?
That's true. Trump just threw a wrench in the logistics of that.
Like, what happens if the Raiders and the Texans go down there and all of a sudden that wall gets constructed in a week and they're stuck?
Yeah. They just can't move beyond it.
Yeah, and then guess what, Mexico City? You just got two new teams. They're the Thursday night game. Color rush. Cam came out and said when he plays Madden 2017 in his house, he wears the Carolina Panthers color rush jerseys, and he is fired up to wear them on Thursday night football.
They are clean. I like
Does this mean Cam's having fun again?
I don't know. I thought that...
Is he enjoying football just a little bit?
Yeah, he might be. Are you enjoying it again, Cam? Because they...
Cam, do you like it? Huh? Do you like football?
They blew it last week. They were up 17-0 and totally blew it to the Chiefs, who are really sneaky right now. I know we don't like to believe it. They've won 17 of their last 19, and they're good on all sides of the ball. They might be the most complete team in the NFL in terms of there's no part of the Chiefs that you think is just a glaring Achilles heel for them.
So I gotta say, I am a huge Travis Kelce fan.
Big fan of the show.
And I'm gonna come out and air some secrets. My wife watches the show, and maybe I watch it with her. Just maybe we DVR that show together and we watch it. That shit is fucking hilarious. And just to watch him clown around with these thirsty ass chicks and then get kicked out of the game for throwing his glove at the ref. I love it. I want more of it.
That was phenomenal. What chick, because I haven't seen enough of it, what chick, I know they're from every state. Who's got the lead right now? What state?
So, interesting enough, one of the girls on the show is Mark Schlereth's daughter.
Wow.
Yes. Representing Colorado is Mark Schlereth's daughter.
Unreal.
And then there's, if I was going to say there was a front runner, I would have to say it's girl from New Jersey. She's been getting in some quality time.
She's been winning those dates.
She did a little sleepover at Travis's. Ooh. I want to see the Chiefs fire up that machine and get Travis Kelce the ball more, because he hits those end zone dances that the people love, and he parties like Gronk.
He is. He really is mini Gronk. He's great.
And he's friends with LMFAO, so you know he fucking parties.
Wow, that's big. I saw ESPN's already doing the "Where's Tony Romo going to play next year?" game, and of course the Jets are on there, and they said, it's going to be really hard for the Cowboys, like when the Niners had to part ways with Joe Montana, and that was cute.
To even put Romo in the same category as Montana or Young, come on, man.
Yeah,
the guy can't even get a playoff win.
That deserves a come on, man. A big old come on, man. Well,
who's your favorite Niners running back of all time? Real quick.
Ricky Waters.
Me too. I love Ricky.
I love Ricky Waters.
I just wanted to hear it. I love me some Ricky.
Garrison Hurst was nice, but he wasn't better than Frank Gore. But he was nice.
Forgot all about Garrison Hurst.
I know. And then obviously favorite quarterback, it's still Steve Young.
Not Jeff Garcia?
No, not Jeff Garcia. He was a Pro Bowler, though. I believe a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Good old Garcia. Man, he was a slut,
by
the way. He finished on about 7 teams.
Yeah, he even made his time in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. That's the typical slut move. You got to pass through Cleveland at some point in your journey.
Yeah, I'm just wondering who the next slut... Oh, maybe that's where Romo goes.
Ooh, I think Romo is going to go... Well, he'll probably have his choice. I think the Cowboys are going to have to cut him. I don't see why anyone would trade for him with that contract or give up pieces.
The only teams I'm seeing, Bears.
Yeah. But if you're the Bears, don't you just want to restart with a rookie?
Yeah, maybe the Niners should go get Romo.
God, I hope not.
That'd be really good.
That would be very sad for me.
There's really not that many teams that need him.
No, I could see the Broncos or the Cardinals, if they both think their window's still open, want to go that route. The Jets are obviously always in play. The Jets are pretty much the Browns as far as quarterbacks are concerned. Ooh, I got a real wild card for you. Assuming they get a new coach, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That, you know what? And then let Bortles sit or just get rid of Bortles.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I've been saying with Cincinnati forever, and I think Dalton's fine, but when a guy's young and he's not necessarily done enough to make you want to keep him, bring in someone to compete. Like the Cardinals did with Kurt Warner and Matt Leinart, and Warner ended up being amazing.
Yeah, and Matt Leinart never did anything.
No. The other one, and just because he's used to getting shafted, is the Chiefs. Never rule out the Chiefs. Andy Reid is always down. He had McNabb and would play Cobb, traded Cobb, went and got Vic. Andy Reid loves stockpiling quarterbacks.
Or the Broncos take Osweiler back, and he goes in there and wins a Super Bowl, and John Elway looks like a goddamn genius.
Oh, God, if they do that, that would be just so sad. But they have Paxton Lynch, who's basically Brock Osweiler 2.0. Big, tall guy who can move, but it can move better.
Big, tall guy who's not good?
Yeah, pretty much. God. It's funny watching Texans fans like, oh, our O-line's trash. Yeah, it is. So is the Vikings, and Bradford throws for 300 yards. I don't know what.
You know who else's O-line is trash? The Chargers. They still have more rushing yards and passing yards than most teams in the NFL. You know whose O-line is trash? The fucking Steelers.
Yep.
If you're not the Cowboys, the Raiders, or the Titans have a good O-line.
Yeah, they do.
If you're not one of those three teams, you probably have an O-line that's questionable at best. Otherwise, it's trash.
Yeah, it's questionable to trash level. I mean, the Giants were starting two guys on Monday night who had never played.
Yeah, the Giants are playing, what is it, 3 guards? Or is it 3 tackles? Because their O-line is so bad, they admitted, our O-line's horrible, so they just scrap a tight end and they put an extra lineman in there.
Yeah, it's so funny because you always hear the maxim like, oh, you got to build from the line, and teams just rarely do it. And Dallas, took the picking away from Jerry and did it. It's funny, too, reading analysts out here. I saw an article the other day, I think it was on The Ringer, saying how the Cowboys are ushering in a new age where offensive line is more important than anything. And I was thinking, new age?
That's not new.
Yeah. I remember playing Pee Wee football, and every coach is like, you build from the inside out, son. This game's about blocking and tackling. That's all that Lombardi would say. It's like,
I was going to say the Redskins. The Redskins O-line was so good that they had their own fan following, the Hogettes.
The Redskins won 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks, one of which
are good.
Was in the Hall of Fame. I believe Joe Theismann is in the Hall of Fame, but that's a very questionable Hall of Fame.
I'm glad he's not on TV anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd rather have him or Sims. It is so tough for me. I put the game on Spanish. That's one of my favorite things to do now. It's actually great to watch an NFL game in Spanish because I can't stand Joe Buck and Aikman. I don't really mind Aikman, but and Buck's just doing play-by-play, but he still bothers me.
Yeah, the Sims, Boomer Esiason, Chris Collinsworth, Buck Plug, and Aikman are just the worst to me. Oh, and whoever the fucking guy with Gruden on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, what was that play sheet? That thing
he had a giant play sheet, so he could try to act like he knew what he was talking about, and had all the rosters' names on it. But they put the camera on him while he was still holding it.
Yeah, someone should pull an Anchorman and just change all the names on there and see if he butchers it. I just pulled it up. Joe Theismann is not in the Hall of Fame. So the Redskins won a Super Bowl with Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, and Joe Theismann. Just because you changed your name, Joe, I didn't forget.
Yeah. So Mark Rippon is the only Native American to have a Super Bowl ring.
Wow, fun fact.
And who was he playing for?
Wow, that is huge.
Yep. Yeah.
How has that not been brought up? That is mind-blowing.
Right?
So the Redskins have won with a Native American, an African American, and a handicapped person.
Who changed his name?
Who changed his name? That's phenomenal.
That's diversity.
That is diversity. Good for you, Redskins.
And all behind a Hall of Fame offensive line.
Yep.
Mike Munchak was on that O-line.
So was Mark May.
Ooh.
And Russ Grimm. What a name. They have to be also the last team to win a Super Bowl with a white starting running back.
Oh, John Riggins?
Yeah. Very interesting team now. Delve in more. There's got to be more juice for the Redskins somewhere in there. Also, back to Mark Rippon. His son is the quarterback at Boise State.
Ooh.
Yeah. Good player.
Lineage.
Lineage.
Too bad. It's too bad Kirk Cousins is playing so well because it'd be fun to see him go to the Redskins.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of the Redskins this year. It's like part of me thinks they're not good, but I know they are good. But you just feel like they're going to fall off. They're like a solid team. They're not great at anything, and they're not bad at anything.
You know who I enjoy on their team is Jamison Crowder.
Ooh, great player, sneaky good.
He came out of nowhere. He returns punts. He's super fast, runs great routes, and people just forget about him. All people think about is Deshaun Jackson, who is fragile and fast, and will probably drop 2 passes a game that one of them would go for a touchdown otherwise.
Deshaun Jackson has always been a more loved. He's better in the open field than Mike Wallace is with the ball in his hand, but he's really not much different than Mike Wallace. Let's be real.
Yeah. You know what? Talking about Mike Wallace makes me think of something. When I watched that Steelers-Ravens game, that I am not impressed with Joe Flacco. No. And I forget who the announcer was that game when Mike Wallace turned like a 10-yard out route into a 95-yard touchdown.
Oh, I saw that play, and they acted like it was Joe Flacco's poise and awareness that he knew.
That's what Joe Flacco brings to the table. He's got a big arm, and he is not afraid to throw it downfield.
Oh, my God. Joe Flacco is just – it's so funny that people would throw the elite word around with Joe Flacco when they never called Eli elite, and there's really no difference between them except that Eli Manning's a better quarterback.
Eli Manning is never going to be called elite because of his brother.
Yes.
He has a higher percentage of being called elite if he wins another one, they can't deny him.
Well, you can't spell elite.
It would be undeniable.
You can't spell elite without Eli.
Oh, true.
Before you go, since we're starting, we want to get some new segments involved. We're going to do one, obviously named after the podcast, called Cheer and Loathing. So you just give us a few things cheer that you liked and loathing that you hated from last week's action. Players or things.
I'm going to this one's a toss-up. I don't know how to take it. I'm going to go with Alshon Jeffrey testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Because performance-enhancing is the first 2 words on that. And he has not performed at all this season.
No.
So obviously he needs to call whoever got him that juice and get his goddamn money back. And Brian Hoyer should have been stealing that shit out of his locker room because right now Brian Hoyer's arm may not be snapped in half if he was on the juice.
That's true.
So I'll say loathing. I am loathing Alshon Jeffrey.
Loathing Alshon Jeffrey.
Cheer. I am cheering on the NFC's new hotness, the New York Giants.
Ooh.
And Odell Beckham, your boy.
Yes.
I gotta give it to you. I've been a hater, but he's performing. He's keeping it on the field, not so much on the sideline, and he's making history.
I've
set a record.
I've never seen anyone that can score a touchdown and transition into a dance move faster and more fluidly than him.
Only other two people for that would be Antonio Brown, who leads the league in dancing penalties.
Yes.
Which it's nothing to a boss. And the other one is his teammate, Victor Cruz.
Yes.
That guy can salsa at any given moment.
He can.
So I'm going to say cheer. I am cheering the Giants and your boy, Odell Beckham.
Yeah, you took that one from me because I was going to say that. I've been saying the Giants for a while, and it's not even necessarily because of their team this year. It's just because they're the Giants, and you can't rule them out. This is what they do. So I'm going to switch my cheer. Eric Berry. That pick 6 was a thing of beauty, my friend. And to come back from last year, guy's a baller. Loathing, I am going to loathe, obviously, on Phillip Rivers' game, but mainly the Packers. You guys are just shitting the bed. And there's no rhyme or reason. It's the same roster you guys have had. I think it's time we just admit they're not that good. Every week we say, oh, Aaron's going to turn it around. I got to give
named it.
I got to give one more cheer, though. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming even with the New Orleans Saints, both 4-5. And my bet is still in the air with Andrew. I think I've been dealt the worst hand, but there's still fight left in these Bucs. And Jameis Winston's 50-yard rollout play was a thing of beauty.
Oh, amazing! When you sent me that video clip of that, I immediately started sending it out to my friends that are Florida State fans and Buccaneers fans, and they lost their mind because two of them were gone. They didn't get to see it. And I guess, I don't know, they didn't watch ESPN or something, but
you know Buccaneers fans?
I do. I know some Buccaneers fans. It's my friend who went to high school with Timmy Jernigan, old Clam Dingus.
Clam Dingus.
Clam Dingus is a Buccaneers fan and a huge Florida State fan.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's all about Jameis Winston.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's we'll chat again if you're free this week. Get our picks in. Everyone get your picks in on the pool Thursday. We'll make our picks, see how we do. It's going to be an interesting
Step your game up.
I need to step my game up. I'm coming back. I'm bringing out my inner Eli, and I'm coming back this week. I'm coming back hard.
Ooh, I like the sound of it, but I'm still going to get you.
You going to get me? We're going to dance. You're above me. I got some making up to do. You and Andrew are both ahead of me.
I've been above you.
You have?
Every week. I own you.
Not the first week.
So I didn't get my picks in. I kind of forgot.
Exactly. So I got one by default.
Technicalities.
By default. But I'm going to come strong. I don't go quietly.
Strong
great
to
night.
Quite strong.
Exactly. All right, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. I will talk
to you
always
soon. A pleasure. I love it. And we will do this soon.
You got it. Peace.